Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. And today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 valuable vinyl finds in 2024. And anyone watching saying, it's not about the money, you're completely right. I'm not looking for the most valuable records, I'm looking for the best sounding records, or sometimes unique records, and sometimes they can become very expensive. I think that's a downside. So I do not pay the prices that I'm mentioning here. I hope this video may be an inspiration that you can find great, rare records and not pay the main price for them, although sometimes, relatively, it can be expensive. If you do not want to get into the financial thing, I have a video of my top 5 $5 bin finds of 2024. Have a look here because it's not about the money, but money is involved. So it can be fun to talk about it, especially when you're lucky enough to find a nice pressing. And here it goes. At number 5, a first UK mono pressing of the Beatles Revolver. But I already had one of those, not in the best condition, but good enough to enjoy. This year I found a near mint minus copy. Definitely the vinyl is near mint minus of this at a record fair in Amsterdam. I paid 24 euros for this. I couldn't believe my eyes because the quality was so good, and it was the second time that I found a UK Revolver mono in the wild. You know, these are not very common to find, and it's a brilliant album, and I think it's the best sounding version of this record. And playing this, comparing it to the recent mono reissue, which is pretty good, the 2014 mono issue, which is also very good. I already preferred the first UK mono, even the one I had, with some scratches, you know, mono needle, great quality. This one in near mint condition, I'm just so happy. I paid 24, 25 euros, and online in this condition, these go for about 250 euros. So sometimes we just get lucky. At number 5, the first UK mono of the Beatles Revolver. At number 4, yes, Jimi Hendrix Experience Axis Bold as Love, a first UK mono from 1967, an original. The quality of this pressing and the quality of it is pretty good. I'd say VG+. I paid about 80 bucks for it. Now I know that is a lot of money, and I do not often spend these prices on records, but I walked into a record store earlier this year, and about a year ago or 2 years ago, I was in London and I found another one of these, the first UK mono. It's a rare find. It's a gorgeous record, and the mono mix is distinctively different from the stereo one. So I was so curious, but it was priced £50. Why was it priced £50? It had deep, deep scratches. It had such deep scratches, the one I found in London, that I was actually thinking, I think it skips. This has to skip. So I left it. But walking away, seeing what these do online they go for between 130 to 790 bucks. I regretted it. I thought I'd rather have spent £50 not knowing if it's good enough, because I was just afraid I would never find another copy. Now, earlier this year, I walked into a record shop and I saw them having this for a very reasonable price. I believe it was $100, and I negotiated until it was 85. Just couldn't believe it. For this kind of money, I bought it. I took it home, and it sounds stunning. It's one of my favorite purchases of this year. It sounds so good. This record is so different in mono, and really, it's more than just the collecting or the value that it's on Discogs, because this sound is unique. It's so great. At number 4, a first UK mono of Jimi Hendrix Experience Axis Bold as Love. At number 3, yeah, This is really a lucky moment. As a matter of fact, I didn't find it. A friend of mine found it. He bought it and he traded it with me. So I'm not sure what I traded it for, or it was just evening out a drinking bill, because weekly a friend of mine comes over and we listen to records and we drink a lot of beer and eat good cheese, and for hours and hours we just listen to records. It's great. Now he bought this one. I'm not sure what he paid for it. I believe it was between 250 or 300 bucks. And this is the first US pressing of the late great Townes Van Zandt. Now, this is not in a pristine condition because it has the cut, but that's the only thing, because the quality of the vinyl is near mint minus, and it's so hard to find this record at all. I've been looking all over all over in New York and the Bay Area this year to find anything from Townes Van Zandt that was not a recent reissue, and I found nothing. And trust me, I saw a lot of record stores here in the Netherlands, here in Europe. You do not find anything but these Townes Van Zandt reissues, and you want to find an original because they sound stunning. The analog pressings, the original one, this is a poppy one, an original. Then there are the tomato ones. They sound also very, very good. It's so different. It's a complete unique experience on its own, and they are so tough to find. This one in this state would also go for about 400 bucks looking at Discogs. Now, obviously, I nor a friend of mine paid that for it, but it's such an astonishing record. I think this is one of the biggest masterpieces from the 70s. Townes Van Zandt showed himself to be such a true master of his craft, and it's just fantastic. A marvelous, stunning sounding album. At number 3, the late great Townes Van Zandt, the first American pressing. At number 2, Led Zeppelin 2, a Bob Ludwig mastered hot mix. And if you're curious about this story, please check my channel for the video in which I talk about the sound of a Bob Ludwig pressing and the story behind it, because this specific mastering, it has quite a story. You know what? I'll just share a bit of story. I just love the story. Led Zeppelin made late 1969 Led Zeppelin 2, and then the mastering, the engineer Eddie Kramer, he wanted to get the best sound out. So Robert Ludwig, the mastering engineer, and Eddie Kramer just made the most stunning master. It sounded spectacular with such an incredible dynamic range. And then the manager of Led Zeppelin heard that and he said, yeah, this one should be released. But they all knew this has such an incredible dynamic range, the way the bass sounds, for example, that if you would print this, very cheap record players, the needle will bounce out. So it's tough to sell this commercially. But they were convinced that this was the best way the record should sound. So what did they do? The manager of Led Zeppelin, he put pressure on, I believe, 3 different pressing plants in the United States to press the so-called hot mix. They actually tested the hot mix at the house of Paul Rothchild because he had an audiophile listening system. They were all just blown away by it. And not only did he put pressure on them to press this hot mix, also he put pressure on them to use the best quality vinyl, because you had 3 levels of quality vinyl. The first level, the most silent quality, was used for classic records because classical people had the best ears. Then there's this middle section that was used for jazz, and then the rest was for pop and rock. And the manager said, no, you're going to use the best quality vinyl because this should be one of the best sounding pressings ever. And as a matter of fact, they succeeded. Out of the 2,700 records I have, this is one of the best sounding records, and I'm so lucky to find it this year. The price of it really changes depending on the quality, because this record was sold a lot before it was replaced. I should add that in this story, because the daughter of the boss of Atlantic Records had this record, took it to school with her, and then the school had a very cheap record player, and then the needle popped out. Now, she told her father that that happened, and the father was just furious, calling out these records had to be returned, and they immediately made a new, very safe, thin, horrible mix. I have one of those. It sounds nothing like this record, doesn't explode the way this one does. So it's become a rarity. Not a novelty, this is definitely a rarity because the sound is just stunning. Now, value-wise, it really depends on the shape you find this in. This is a VG quality pressing. There is some light crackle, but I mean, it's an overall stunning album. These pressings go for between 160 and 1400, or 160 or 1400 bucks. But it's very vague because at this moment the prices are rising for this record. Last week I was at the record fair in the Brabanthalle, and I actually saw a very good seller, a very trustworthy seller, selling one of these for 2,700 bucks, claiming it's near mint. I didn't take a look at it. I didn't dare to touch it, and I have my version, so I'm very happy with that. So this might be one of the most valuable pressings, but I'm putting it at second because condition-wise, this is not going to be in the 1,400 regions. So lucky to have one. It's a stunning record, stunning story. So at number 2. At number 1, another record I thought I would never actually find and own. It's Something Else by Cannonball Adderly, and it's a first US mono pressing. I already had a US stereo. This is just one of the records that I really deeply love, and it means a lot to me. And it has this magical element there. And this is the first original mono, Rudy Van Gelder mastered one, and it's. I also have a early 60s reissue of this, and I thought mono, also mastered by Rudy Van Gelder. I thought, if it's also mastered by Van Gelder, what's the difference gonna be? Yeah, there is a difference. This sounds so much fresher. The master tapes were fresh, and it's so good, and it's of a stunning quality. I deeply love it. Online, it goes for between 125 and 900 bucks, but seeing the condition of this one, I think it would rank higher than my Led Zeppelin 2. So that is my top 5 of most valuable finds in 2024. I'm curious, what were your lucky valuable finds in 2024? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.